Did you know there's a surah in the Quran where Allah swears by a fruit? Not just any fruit, but one that grows on ancient mountains where prophets once walked.
Do not be afraid.
But here's what will shock you.
Stand firm,
this tiny surah, with only 8 verses,
Lord
contains a statement so powerful that it shook the foundations of Arab society. It challenged everything they believed about human nature and destiny. The pagans of Makkah heard these words and couldn't respond. Why? Because this surah answers the most fundamental question every human being asks: what is my true worth? And the answer will change how you see yourself forever. You're watching Islamic Legacy TV, and today we're uncovering the profound secrets of Surah At-Tin. If you want to understand why Allah chose these specific symbols and what message they carry for your life today, then stay with us until the very end. And if you're ready to dive deep into this blessing, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and support us with your comments. Let's begin. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Surah At-Tin, meaning the fig, is the 95th chapter of the Holy Quran. It was revealed in Makkah during a time when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced intense opposition. The people of Makkah rejected his message, mocked the believers, and questioned the very concept of accountability and human dignity that Islam brought. This short but powerful surah consists of only 8 verses, yet within these verses lies a complete philosophy about human creation, purpose, and ultimate fate. Islamic scholars throughout history have written extensively about this surah because of its unique structure. It begins with 4 magnificent oaths, presents a revolutionary statement about human nature, and ends with a question that silences all doubt. The name At-Tin comes from the very first verse where Allah swears by the fig, but why would the creator of the universe swear by a fruit? This question troubled many people, and the answer reveals layers of wisdom that connect geography, history, and divine guidance. Let us now explore these blessed verses one by one. Wat-tin was zaytun, by the fig and the olive. Allah begins with an oath, and in Arabic rhetoric, an oath indicates that what follows is of tremendous importance. But why the fig and the olive specifically? Scholars of tafsir have given us beautiful explanations. Some say the fig represents the land of Damascus and the surrounding blessed regions of Sham. The olive represents Jerusalem and the holy lands of Palestine. Both of these fruits grow abundantly in these sacred territories. These are the lands where many prophets walked, where revelation descended, and where the call to worship one God echoed through the mountains. Others say the fig and olive represent the actual fruits themselves, which Allah created with incredible nutritional benefits. Modern science has discovered that figs and olives contain compounds that protect the heart, strengthen bones, and fight disease. The people of that time already knew these fruits were valuable, and Allah was directing their attention to the Creator behind these blessings. But there's a deeper meaning. These 2 fruits, when mentioned together, symbolize the legacy of prophethood. They represent the continuity of divine guidance that came through the prophets who lived in those blessed lands. Watori Sinin, and by Mount Sinai. Now Allah swears by Mount Sinai, the mountain where Prophet Moses, received the Torah and spoke directly with Allah. This is the mountain that trembled when the glory of Allah manifested upon it. This is where the children of Israel were commanded to hold firmly to the book. Mount Sinai represents the covenant between Allah and humanity. It represents the moment when law and guidance were given to an entire nation. By swearing by this mountain, Allah is reminding us of that sacred contract that humans are not left without guidance. This mountain witnessed one of the most extraordinary moments in human history when Musa asked to see Allah, and Allah manifested his glory to the mountain, causing it to crumble to dust. Musa fell unconscious from the majesty of that moment. This is the weight of what Allah is swearing by. Wahadhal baladil amin. And by this secure city. The fourth oath is by Makkah, the city where the Kaaba stands, the city that was made sacred by Allah Himself. It is called the secure city because even in the times of pre-Islamic ignorance, when violence and tribal warfare were common everywhere in Arabia, Makkah remained a sanctuary. People would not fight there. Blood would not be shed within its boundaries. This is the city where Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail rebuilt the Kaaba. This is the city where the final prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. This is the city from which the final message to all of humanity would emerge. Now pause and think. Allah has sworn by four things: two fruits that represent blessed lands, one mountain where divine law was revealed, and one city that became the center of monotheistic worship. What connects all of these? They all represent places where prophets received revelation. The fig and olive point to the lands of Isa, Jesus. Mount Sinai points to Musa, and the secure city points to Muhammad, peace be upon them all. Allah is establishing a chain of prophethood, a continuous line of guidance sent to humanity. After these four powerful oaths, Allah makes a statement that changed everything. Laqad khalaqnal insana fi Ahsan-e-Taqweem. Indeed, we created the human being in the best form. This verse is the heart of the surah. After swearing by these sacred symbols, Allah declares that He created humans in the finest, most balanced, most perfect form. The word taqweem means upright structure, balance, and proportion. Think about this. The Arabs listening to this verse lived in a society where human life had little value. Baby girls were buried alive, slaves were treated like animals. The strong oppressed the weak without any moral accountability. In this environment, Allah declares that every human being, regardless of status, wealth, or tribe, was created in the best possible form. This was a revolutionary statement. It gave dignity to every person. It said that you, as a human being, carry within you something noble, something that reflects divine craftsmanship. Your body, your mind, your soul, all of it is created with purpose and precision. Modern science continues to discover the miracles of human creation. The brain has billions of neurons. The heart beats without you thinking about it. Your eyes can distinguish millions of colors. Your immune system fights invaders you can't even see. Every cell in your body is a universe of complexity, and Allah is saying, I made you this way. You are not an accident. You are the pinnacle of my creation on this earth. But then comes a devastating turn. Thumma radad nahu Asfal-as-Saafileen. Then we reduced him to the lowest of the low. After being created in the best form, humans have the potential to fall to the absolute lowest state. How does this happen? When a person rejects faith, denies their creator, and lives without purpose or morality, they descend below the level of animals. Animals follow their instincts. They don't lie, betray, or oppress. But humans, when they abandon guidance, become capable of the worst evils. History is full of examples. People who committed genocide, people who enslaved others, people who spread corruption on earth. These are people who fell from the highest potential to the lowest reality. This descent is not physical. It is spiritual and moral. A person may be healthy, wealthy, and powerful, but if their heart is dead to truth and mercy, they have reached the lowest of the low. But Allah, in His infinite mercy, does not leave the verse there. Illa lazina amanu wa amilus salihati. Except those who believe and do righteous deeds. Here is the rescue. Here is the way back up. The path to maintaining that noble form Allah created you in is through faith and righteous action. Belief in Allah, in His messengers, in the Day of Judgment, and living a life that reflects that belief through good deeds. This is the balance Islam brings. Faith without action is incomplete, and action without faith has no foundation. The two must go together. You believe in Allah, so you pray. You believe in accountability, so you are honest. You believe in the hereafter, so you help others. فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ. For them is a reward uninterrupted. Those who believe and do good will receive a reward that never ends, never decreases, and is never cut off. This is paradise, eternal bliss, the ultimate return to the honored state that Allah created you for. In this life, every pleasure eventually ends, every joy fades. But in the hereafter, for the believers, there is permanent happiness, no fear, no sadness, no loss. Only peace, beauty, and closeness to Allah. And now, the final verse. فَمَا يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ بِالدِّينِ. So, what makes you deny the judgment after this? This question is directed at anyone who hears this message. After all these clear signs, after Allah swearing by sacred lands and mountains, after explaining that humans are created with purpose, shown the path, and promised reward or warned of punishment, what reason could anyone possibly have to deny the Day of Judgment? It is as if Allah is saying, the evidence is before you, the choice is clear. So why would you still reject? Alaysa Allahu bi ahkamil hakimin. Is not Allah the most just of all judges? The surah ends with a rhetorical question that demands reflection. Allah, who created you in perfect form, who sent prophets to guide you, who gave you free will and intellect, is He not the wisest and most just of all who judge? If He created you, does He not have the right to hold you accountable? If He gave you life, does He not have the authority to resurrect you? If He is perfectly just, will He not distinguish between the oppressor and the oppressed, the believer and the disbeliever? This final question leaves no room for denial. It confronts the heart directly. Scholars say that when this verse is recited, it is sunnah to respond by saying, Bala wa ana Allah thalika minash shahidin. Yes, and I am among those who bear witness to that. Surah At-Tin may be short, but its message is eternal. It tells us that we were created with dignity, that we have been given guidance, and that we will be held accountable. It reminds us that falling from our noble purpose is a choice, and rising back to it is also a choice. The fig and the olive remind us of the prophets who came before. Mount Sinai reminds us of divine law. Makkah reminds us of the final message. And the question at the end reminds us that one day we will all stand before the most just judge. So reflect on your life. Are you living up to the best form you were created in, or have you allowed yourself to descend? The path back is always open. Faith and good deeds. That is the key. May Allah make us among those who believe, act righteously, and receive the unending reward. May He protect us from falling to the lowest of the low, and may He make us witnesses to His justice and wisdom. Ameen. If this video benefited you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to Islamic Legacy TV so you don't miss the next story from the Quran. And remember, every surah has secrets waiting to be unlocked. Let's continue this journey together.